It was supposed to be a joke. I was on Discord with a friend around 3 a.m., doom-scrolling random corners of the internet. We dared each other to find the weirdest listing on the dark web. You know the drill. Cursed boxes, organs, haunted dolls. Creepy, but fake. That's when I found it. A private site called Grand Line Market. The homepage was tacky, one-piece graphics, pirate gifs, mock bounties like Luffy, 1 Bitcoin. Looked like a meme hub, but there was a hidden store link at the bottom, just a black dot. I clicked it. The UI changed. No more jokes. It turned minimalist, sterile, and encrypted. Listings read like catalog codes. DF089, GUMU, DF035BARI, DF014, MERA, all marked genuine, tested. No pictures, just prices. The one that caught my eye was DF014, MERA. It cost 1.75 Bitcoin, just under $90,000 at the time. Flame Logia, confirmed functional, no refunds. Underneath, in red, consumption of unauthorized devil fruits is punishable by termination. This is your only warning. It felt too elaborate to be real. I told myself it was a scam, but in the heat of insomnia and boredom and some bad influence, I bought it. It arrived 4 days later. No branding, no invoice, just a plain silver case, vacuum sealed inside another layer of industrial foam. And inside, a fruit, swirled like a carved orange pepper, deep red, glowing faintly under my desk lamp. It looked exactly like a devil fruit from the anime. Still convinced it was a prank, I took a bite. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted, metallic, bitter, like burnt plastic and moldy wood. I spat it out and gagged, but too late. I had swallowed enough. Nothing happened for hours, but that night I had a dream. A sea of fire, a flag with a skull that bled, a voice whispering, "Now, the sea forgets you." The next morning I burned my hand while making eggs, or at least I tried to. The pan was scorching, but I didn't feel it. My hand passed through the flame like it was air. I looked down. My palm was glowing. Tiny flickers of fire danced across my fingers. I screamed, dropped the pan, stumbled back and stared as the flames curled around my knuckles and then vanished. It was real. I had eaten the Mera Mera no Mi. I didn't go to school for the next 2 days. I told my parents I had a fever, but really, I was locking myself in my room, experimenting, testing, pushing boundaries. And I wasn't crazy. The powers worked. Not in a cosplay flamethrower way. I could ignite my hands at will, heat the air, melt metal, turn intangible when something tried to hit me. It started with small things. Lighting a match with my fingers, then setting cardboard on fire without touching it, then my closet door. I was terrified of burning the house down, so I bought a fire blanket and filled my room with buckets of sand. Every night, I sat cross-legged in the middle of my room like some monk, willing flames into existence. I was a fire god in secret. And then the water thing happened. I dropped my toothbrush in the sink, reached to grab it, and recoiled like I'd touched acid. My fingers sizzled, and I staggered back, watching cold water boil off my skin. My hand was fine, but I wasn't. I couldn't breathe. I stood there for minutes, panting, heart hammering like I'd touched death itself. That wasn't anime logic. That was real-life rejection. The sea didn't want me anymore. That night, something worse happened. I got a notification. Not from Instagram, not from Discord, from the same site, the Grand Line Market. But this time, the message wasn't from a store. It was from a private thread. I hadn't signed up. I didn't even leave my info. The message read, "Your devil fruit has been confirmed active. You are now flagged as awakened. All awakened users are added to the global registry. You are now listed on the real-world bounty database." Below it was a link. I hesitated, then clicked, and what I saw made me go cold. It looked just like the one-piece bounty board, except it was in real life. Names, faces, Bitcoin rewards. And halfway down the list, wanted, unknown fire type Logia, 100 Bitcoin reward, dead or submission, status, unconfirmed civilian, Japan, last login 36 hours ago. There was a picture. Me. I stared at the bounty listing, frozen. My picture was grainy, pulled from some street cam maybe, but it was unmistakably me. Eyes wide, mouth half open. Probably the moment I set fire to that aluminum can near the riverbank 2 nights ago. I hadn't even told a soul. How did they know? More importantly, who the hell were they? I locked my doors, covered my webcam, took my phone apart, even threw a towel over the tiny red light in my smoke detector. I was spiraling. I didn't sleep that night, and just before sunrise, my paranoia became reality. Someone knocked. Not my door, my window, 4th floor, no fire escape, just a tap, tap, tap. I sat frozen in bed, eyes adjusting to the faint silhouette outside. Human, maybe, but wrong. Whoever it was, they crouched sideways, head tilted unnaturally, face obscured by a black motorcycle helmet. Then came the voice, muffled, low. "You took a fruit, right?" I didn't answer. "You'll burn me if I come in, yeah?" I said nothing. Good. Makes this more fun. And just like that, they vanished. No footsteps, no landing, no sound. I skipped school for the 3rd day in a row, went to an internet cafe in another district, logged in under a fake name, accessed the real-world bounty database again. There were new listings, more awakened, dozens. And I noticed something. The user IDs of the hunters, those claiming bounties, were organized like pirate crews. Red Boar Pirates, Mira Seekers, Cypher Beta, Cypher Alpha. That last one chilled me because my bounty now had a hunter assigned to it. Target assigned, Cypher Alpha, ETA unknown. I closed the tab. My hands shook. There were people out there playing pirates in real life, and I wasn't just a player anymore. I was a prize. Then I got a second message, private, encrypted, not from a site, but from someone who'd found me anyway. "Don't go home. You're being watched. Meet me at the Nakano underpass, 3 a.m., if you want to live." No name, no photo, just a signature. DF031 Goro, another fruit user. I arrived at Nakano underpass at 2:50 a.m. Tokyo was asleep. The streetlights buzzed like dying insects. I tucked my hands into my sleeves, half for warmth, half so I wouldn't accidentally light them on fire if I panicked. I didn't know what I expected. A trap? Another bounty hunter? Maybe the psycho from my window? What I got was a girl wearing a beat-up gray hoodie, hair tucked into a cap, eyes sharp and twitchy like she hadn't slept in days. Her arms were crossed, but her right hand was covered in something metallic, thin wires wrapped around her fingers like cybernetic string. She saw me, tilted her head. "You the fire kid?" I nodded slowly. DF014 Mara. She grimaced. "So it's real then. Shit." She turned and started walking. I followed. We ducked into a maintenance tunnel beneath the city. She seemed to know exactly where to go. Graffiti lined the walls, old gang tags mixed with new ones I didn't recognize. Symbols, logos, a twisted version of the straw hat flag marked with black ink and a bleeding smile. After 5 minutes, she stopped beside a rusted breaker box, slapped it twice. The wall behind us hissed and slid open, a hidden room. Inside were 4 others, all younger than 25, all with the same haunted look in their eyes. One had glowing blue veins. Another sat barefoot in a bucket of water, steam rising from his skin. One girl was missing both arms until she activated some kind of invisible field and her limbs reappeared. "Welcome to the unregistered," the first girl said. "We're the ones who bought devil fruits and lived. The truth comes out." She sat me down and explained everything. The Grand Line Market wasn't a fan project. It wasn't some elaborate dark web prank. It was a real organization sourcing devil fruits from a hidden seller. No one knows who, but everyone calls him Vegapunk. People have been buying these fruits for years. Some gain powers, some die, some become something else. And the real-world bounty database? It's real, funded by anonymous crypto whales, billionaires, ex-government types. They track awakened users, tag them as assets or threats, and assign hunters to either capture or eliminate them. "We're worth more dead than alive," she told me, "because once you awaken, you can't be turned off." I asked her what her fruit was. She pulled back her sleeve, revealing the wires running under her skin. "Ito no mi, string. I can control a 200-meter radius of microfibers, but if I use it too much, I bleed." Then she looked at me. "You're fire. That makes you a target, top of the list. You're flashy, dangerous, and worst of all," she leaned forward, "you're still new." Suddenly, the lights flickered. One of the unregistered stood up. "They're here." On a cracked laptop screen, a red dot blinked. GPS ping, close. Cipher Alpha. "We have less than 5 minutes." The base went silent. The old lights buzzed once, then cut. Only the emergency red LEDs remained, bathing the walls in a pulse like a heartbeat. "Everyone in defense positions," the string girl, her name was Ray, ordered. "This isn't a test. Cipher Alpha means kill order." I barely had time to process it. My hands shook. I felt the heat under my skin begging to be let out. This was no longer about survival. This was war. The door blew off its hinges, not kicked, not exploded, just crumpled inward, like a soda can. A man stepped through the smoke. He wore no uniform, no mask, just a long black coat and a white tie that didn't flutter. Everything about him looked ordinary, except his eyes. They glowed white, like he had a spotlight inside his skull. "Which one of you is the Mera?" he asked. His voice was calm, unnaturally calm. "Hand him over, and the rest of you walk away." Ray flicked her wrist. Strings shimmered into the air, so thin they were nearly invisible. "You're in our world now," she said. "You bleed like the rest of us." Cipher Alpha smiled. "Number I don't." Then it began. Chaos. Ray launched the first attack. The air sang with vibrating wires. But Cipher moved without moving. The floor under him shattered as if he had shifted instantly, a blur of weight and momentum. He caught her mid-air by the throat. Ray screamed, strings unraveling from her fingertips, trying to cut through him. But it didn't work. Her wires snapped. He threw her like a rag doll against the wall. Blood sprayed. She didn't get back up. 2 other unregistered attacked. One with the steam power, who went full pressure mode and burst toward him like a rocket. The other was the blue-veined guy. I never learned his name. His eyes went solid black. Cipher didn't flinch. He tapped the ground with his foot, and the entire base buckled. Earthquake? Number something more precise? More controlled? Shockwave-style fruit? No idea. Both of them collapsed, unconscious or dead. I couldn't tell. And that's when I stood. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't think. I just let the flames rise. My skin ignited clean and smooth. No burning clothes. No pain. Just heat, power, and rage. Cypher looked at me like I was a puzzle piece finally snapping into place. "There you are," he said. "Mirror, mirror, confirmed." I raised my hand and fired. A gout of flame exploded across the room, a living serpent of fire that curved and twisted toward him. He stepped into it, and walked out the other side, untouched. Impossible. Even Logius would feel that. What are you?" I gasped. He pulled something from his coat. A vial, black liquid, glowing faintly. "Kairoseki-derived bloodstream treatment," he said. "Neutralizes all devil fruit effects within a 5-meter radius." See prism stone. That's why he didn't burn. That's why the others failed. I stumbled back. My flame sputtered and died. "You were never meant to awaken," he said, stepping closer. "But don't worry. This won't hurt." He raised his hand. And then Ray moved. One string. Just one. It wrapped around the vial and snapped it clean out of his hand. The container shattered. The black liquid spilled across the floor. And the moment the Kairoseki effect lifted, I ignited again. This time, I didn't hold back. The moment the Kairoseki vapor hit the floor and lost its glow, I burned him. Not a warning shot, not intimidation. A full, focused, vertical column of flame, white hot, roaring, the kind that melts rebar and warps steel. Cypher Alpha didn't vanish, didn't dodge. He stood there and he burned. He screamed, not loudly, more like a dog, low and pained. His coat evaporated, his skin blackened, and then he was gone. The base fell silent. The others were unconscious or hurt. Ray lay half-conscious, breathing hard, blood dripping from her mouth. I ran to her side. "You're still alive," I muttered. "You saved me." She gave a bitter smile. "Didn't do it for you. Just couldn't let that bastard win." We got the others out. Steam guy had broken ribs. The blue-veined guy had a concussion. One girl had vanished completely, probably ran when Cypher appeared. We made it to a backup location Ray mentioned, a storage bunker beneath an old izakaya. The moment we locked the gate, I dropped. My body still hummed with power, but my mind was wrecked. I had just killed someone, for real. That wasn't the first Cypher, Ray said. They replaced them, just like us. "There are more?" I asked. She nodded. "Hundreds of awakened, some born with it, some bought it, some taken and given fruit by force. And there's one rule. The world government isn't fiction. It's real." That night, someone betrayed us, the steam guy. I woke up to a quiet room and a message glowing on Ray's cracked laptop. "To Cypher Central. Location confirmed. 2 Bitcoin bounty collected for Mira." I stood there in disbelief. I thought he was on our side. He was hurt. He was broken. But I forgot something. Everyone is hunted, and when they can't kill, they sell. The air turned cold. Outside, I could hear sirens that weren't real, the kind that precede a raid. Ray shoved a small metal box into my hands. "What is this?" I asked. "A seed," she said. "Vegapunk tech, new, untested. If they catch you, eat it." "Why?" "Because it's better to be something new than something owned." She turned to the others, readied her strings. "Run," she said to me. "Now." I ran. Behind me, the sky lit up. Cypher Beta had arrived. I ran, through alleyways slick with rain, through back streets where vending machines blinked like warning lights. Ray's box clutched to my chest. I didn't look back, but I heard it. The chaos. The moment Cypher Beta arrived, the city shook. He didn't knock. He leveled the entire street. And Ray stayed behind. I found shelter in the burned-out husk of an old warehouse 2 districts over. My head was spinning. I hadn't slept in almost 2 days. The Mera no Me powers burned inside me like a second soul. I opened the box. Inside was a small, pulsing fruit, not patterned, not labeled, just black, organic, unstable. A note was folded underneath it. To burn the system, become what it fears. Not a pirate, not a hunter. Something new. I didn't understand. But I knew one thing. They wouldn't stop. Cypher Alpha was gone. Beta had arrived. Gamma would follow. Then Delta, a machine, an alphabet of executioners. And I was just a line of code they wanted to delete. The next day, I accessed the real-world bounty database. I didn't hide my IP. I changed my photo, uploaded one of me, flames out, eyes blazing, made it clear I wasn't running anymore. Then I did the unthinkable. I placed a bounty on myself. Target, Mira. Bounty, 0.01 Bitcoin. Details, come and try. And below it, I added a message. You created this system. You fed it, you trained it to kill its own, but I'm not playing anymore. This world doesn't belong to pirates or marines. It belongs to the fire. Then I burned the terminal. 2 weeks passed, they came. Cypher, Gamma, Delta, other hunters, mercs. Even Rogue awakened looking for quick Bitcoin. I killed them all. Not because I wanted to, because I had no choice. Now I move like a myth. Each city I pass through, fires start. Bounty boards crash. Users vanish. People whisper about a Logia that can't be traced. They say he isn't a player anymore. He's the firewall. They gave me power. Now they burn by it. And if you're reading this, if you've eaten something from the Grand Line Market, you have 2 choices. Run or burn with me.